Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our campaign is entitled At Your Door. It was written by Ellen Eisenwell, Mark Morrison, Barbara Manoui, Chris Adams, Scott D. Anielowski, and Herbert Height. I'm your game master, and this is episode 22. Our recap will be done by Keith Craig as his character, Dr. Heather Mills. So, without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Keith?
Thanks, Tom. Oh, these keys. Okay, a hotel room here. All right. Well, it's going to be a long distance phone call. I guess I'll just charge that to the company. Well, come on, pick up. Hey, Jack, it's Dr. Mills. Yeah, I know it's early. Well, you shouldn't have been up so late watching all those videos. Yeah, I know. I told you to watch it. And you're getting school credit. Yes. Hey. Just write this down. It's my update. We're following a hot lead, and I need to pass this on. So to follow on at the museum, that statue, they'll know what I'm talking about. The statue, it was quite disturbing. It was almost a crab-like feature and all in it. But what was most disturbing about it, we found a broken test tube at its feet, and it had some of the pink stuff at it. Well, you would know what that pink stuff was if you worked with the other assistants instead of watching all the videos all the time. Yeah, I heard something happen too. Well, anyway, like I said, the exhibit there, it's being sponsored by a church up here, the Church of Redemption. It's a fundamentalist church up here. It's led by Reverend Baxter Lawley. Seems strange that a fundamentalist church would be sponsoring frauds and fakes exhibit, but you know they are. So we were unable to get any further that day. But that evening, Mr. Glensandi came by, and he brought a VCR cassette for us to watch. No, it wasn't one of those. It was security footage and all. It was security footage of the lab. You should have heard about that. The security guard on the lab, he was the one that sabotaged the lab. Most curiously, his shadow, it had a serpentine quality to it. I'm sure it wasn't the lighting or the tape being distorted. It was very distinct. And what makes me positive that it was that they ran a test on the toxin that was used. It had cobra venom in it. Things are getting very strange up here. Anyway, the security guard, he was found another victim of the Ripper. He was found 2 blocks from his house. Unfortunately, he was skinned, so it was a little bit different. Yeah, it is disturbing. Yeah, I'll take care of myself. Don't worry about that. You'll still get your grade. Anyway, we got some of the meat from that Black Dragon restaurant. Remember, there's one down there. Don't eat it. Don't eat there. We're going to get it analyzed. We have a sneaking suspicion that it might be humans in it. Anyway, at the hotel, when we got back to the hotel, we saw a couple men. One of them's name was Scott. I didn't catch the other one's name. They kind of met the description of the Rippers, and disturbingly, they're staying at our hotel. Well, we intercepted them at breakfast, and one of them needed to go back to his room. So I followed him, and they're staying in room 507. Yeah, I need to get back down there, and because he should be headed back down to breakfast, and we need to follow him. Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you ask Mr. J-Tick, what's the status with Mr. Glensandi? Is he married or anything? Just for research, of course, But all right, we'll talk to you later, Jack. Keep up the research. Keep up the good work. Click.
Cool. All right, so as you recall, you're downstairs. You've had breakfast. The 2 gentlemen in black, can't remember exactly what I said they were wearing, but it seems appropriate. They've gotten up, they've paid their bill, and they've walked out, and they've caught a bus somewhere. Dr. Ethan, I believe you're outside. You were kind of watching them or going to follow them. Is that the case?
As I recall, he was outside pretending to smoke, and I tapped him to say, they know who everyone else, they know we're all together except for you. We were ready, Dr. Leach was going to follow if they were driving, but since they're taking mass transit, it's all on you.
All right. I'll do my best.
Well, the question would be is when they get on the bus, what do you do?
Should I jump on with them? Like they're going to a bus stop, right?
Right.
Well, I turned to Dr. What's his name? Not David. Sorry. I turn to him and I say, well, do you want me to jump on the bus or should we trail them? And if we have to have any interaction with them, I can jump out of the car and follow them. Like if they see me, because they haven't seen me yet.
Why don't you get on the bus with them and I'll hop in with Dr. Leach and we can try to follow the bus. So we have two sets of eyes.
So I'll do that.
Okay. So you're on the bus with them. What are the rest of you going to do?
I believe I'm watching the cars.
Yeah, as stated, I'm going to go and find Dr. Leach and see if we can get get in position to follow the bus, since I assume the bus isn't there instantaneously.
No, but you guys were all still in the building. Are you all going to try to follow the bus then? Is that your choice?
Well, I'm just getting down the steps. So if everyone's thinking of following the bus, I was going to see if anyone, maybe we wanted to try and get into their room.
You did see which room they went into, 507.
Yep.
Well, I mean, if Dr. Carlisle is already getting a follow them, I'm not sure if some of us stay to get into the room and the rest take the cars.
Yeah, if I recall, because Dr. Carlisle ate separately from us so that he wouldn't be spotted.
Correct.
I think that when they were leaving, I don't know, just before or just after them, I went and tapped him and sent him on his duty. But I think that the plan was for Dr. Leach to get in our vehicle in case they were driving out from the hotel. So it seems like one in the bus, two in the car, and two left in the hotel.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good. Who's
Well,
taking?
I should probably stay at the hotel because I had the most interaction with them. I mean, I struck up a conversation with the guy. I think he'd remember me.
Yeah, and I talked to the just briefly, but I did talk to the one in the elevator.
All right.
And they were both taking notes as they left the restaurant. So unless they were food reviewers who happen to be witches and maybe rippers, I think we can be sure that they're keeping track of who they interact with.
Do we have anyone that's handy with lock picks?
Wasn't Desmond?
Yeah.
I've had a little luck, but I think I'm already heading out.
Okay. All right.
And frankly, I'm not enormously skilled. I just don't have base.
Right. Yeah. All right. Margaret and I, we'll figure out a way to get in.
All right. So let's deal with Heather and Margaret. You guys get in the elevator. You head up to 507.
Mm-hmm.
And as you arrive in that corridor, you can see the maid down at the other end working her way towards that room.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a MasterCard on her cart? Or a master key?
She probably
Those
keeps
blocks.
it with her.
Yeah, it's like one of those that like's on like a little pull chain, so it's
Right.
attached to her belt or something. Yeah, I kind of figured that. I'm gonna.
You can't see her, by the way. She's in one of the
Right.
rooms right now.
All right. I'm gonna go walk up to her cart and see if like they've got a list of the names of people staying in the rooms, because like sometimes they'll say, "Oh, check out, Keith is checking out on this day," but the last name is what I'm looking for.
Okay. I wasn't aware of that, but go ahead and do a luck roll. Let's see if she has such a thing.
No, apparently she doesn't.
Well, let's say that there is a list there, except that it would be too conspicuous for you to get it and
Right.
fiddle through it while she's not too far away. She could step out at any time to grab a bottle of cleaner. Or...
Right. Yeah. Well, do we want to try and have her open the door, or we want to just Dr. Foot it?
Well, we could we could try to pretend like we left our keys in there.
Yeah, that was my thinking and all. You know, we could say that we could pretend we're kind of ladies of the night. We left our stuff there with Scott. I mean, we know one of their names.
Oh, it is an idea.
Yeah. How are you at telling stories there, Margaret?
Ones that aren't truthful, not very good.
All right. Well, yeah.
Convincing somebody my point of view a little better.
You're right. Right. Yeah. Well, let's go for it. As long as we're confident, as long as you're confident, people will believe you. I find that, unless they work at museums. So go and kind of do that little hesitating knock on the door that when you're just trying to get their attention, but you don't want to make it obvious.
Okay. After a couple seconds, she peeks around the corner and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Do you need back in your room?"
I do, but this isn't my room. Unfortunately I left my key in my room, and I can't get in room 507. My husband and I, Scott, we're staying there.
Well, you're supposed to call down to the concierge if which room is it?
Oh, 507.
Why don't you do a persuade roll?
Okay. You have some skill points in persuade. Five. It's worth 5 luck.
Okay. Yeah. So you're smiling and you look legitimate. So she smiles back and she comes over and she unlocks the door for you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so sorry about this, and
it's okay.
Yeah. Well, I kind of get out a couple Canadian dollars for a tip, and it's like thank you. It's always good to pay people back.
Well, thank you. Okay, mm-hmm. She goes back to what she's doing. Okay, so
nicely done, Heather. I'm telling you, you missed your chance to be an actress.
Yeah, well, I do live in California. Let's get in here before anyone comes along.
Right. So when you step through the door, I don't have a map to show you, but I'll kind of give you the rundown. Just as you step through the door, there is a closet. You're on one end of the apartment on the side. Mm-hmm. So you're coming in through the southeast corner. Okay. As you come in, there's an immediately to your right, there's a closet and then a bathroom.
Okay.
And then it opens up into a living room. There's a couch, there's a coffee table, there's a desk, there's a couple of other chairs, there's a television, there's a kind of a fancy wooden cabinet that's on like brass wheels that looks like it can be moved around for some reason. On the far end, it's sort of archways to sort of separate it from the the bedroom. There's not really a door.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see there's a king-size bed. There's night tables. There's another bathroom and another closet at the far end.
Nice. Wow.
And big windows, balcony outside.
Okay.
Looks nice.
First thing I'm going to do is if it's a chain or it's one of those
Yeah, it's one of
swivel
those.
locks, I'm gonna chain the door.
Okay.
That way the maid doesn't open it on us.
All right. Well, I'm gonna start looking through the drawers and stuff. There aren't any like visible suitcases or anything.
Well, there's a couple of interesting things. The first thing that you notice is that there is a kind of a wooden box, about yay big, sitting on the ground. It looks like it's made out of some sort of fine cherry wood, polished, highly polished. It has gold or brass fixtures on it. There's also a lot of things on the tables, brochures for the hotel, brochures for things around. So, yeah, are you going to look at that thing, the box?
Yep.
The box has some ornate symbols on the top. Since you know that they're Wicca, you sort of get the impression they're occult symbols of some sort. The little box is not locked, but it is held closed by clasps that just pop open when you open them. Inside is a rather extensive collection of crystals of various elements and things, quite a lot of them of high quality, and the book is all lined inside with like velvet.
This is quite the collection here.
It is.
Heather, what are you going to look at?
I'm going to look in that very first closet.
Okay. What you find are a number of coats and slacks and things like that are hanging there. But there is also a leather and a denim trench coat, similar to the ones mentioned by the police.
Going to go through the pockets in the trench coat, including seeing if internal pockets.
In one of the pockets, you find a postcard from the Black Dragon restaurant.
Does it look like it's been mailed?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
It's got pictures of the outside with the dragons and the
right
like that.
I'll take it.
Dr. Margaret, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna start looking through the drawers and the dressers and things that are in there.
Okay.
Any storage?
When you start going through the dressers, you're finding mostly clothes and various things like that. But do a spot hidden for me.
58 is good.
Okay. Under one of, in the underwear drawer that they've got, you find a small black leather book. It looks almost like it's handmade. It has a pentagram on the cover, and in gold letters it says Book of Shadows.
I'll take a look through it.
Okay. When you look inside, it looks like it's all in handwriting, and the name inscribed on the inside of it is Scott Davidson. It looks like various, bits of wisdom and knowledge and things that look like symbols and incantations and prayers. And
Anything that looks like the endurance chant in here?
not really.
And you
But,
mentioned
you would have to read through the whole thing, which would probably take.
well, I'm just glancing through, just trying to see if the name Shub-Niggurath shows up,
Do a spot hidden.
or references to the Divine Mother, or spot hidden 49. Good.
There's some odd things in there. There's a kind of diagram or circle that it seems to be that you're supposed to draw this on the ground, and it can bind certain entities to keep them entrapped there. But you don't see anything directly referencing Shub-Niggurath or anything like that.
Okay, does a circle, does it specify what type of entities? Or is it vague?
It's vague. Demons, Jinn, and other, what do I want to say, malevolent entities.
Okay. All right, well, I'm going to set this back where I found it.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll move into the bathroom.
Okay. Which bathroom? The first one? You were right next to the closet.
Right,
So
yeah.
First bathroom. It's pretty much a normal bathroom. It's got a small television and telephone inside the bathroom, which is kind of unusual. And it's got a lot of personal items.
Mm-hmm.
There's a hairbrush. There's a shaving kit. There's things like that. But all of them have golden initials on them. JT.
JT, Juliet Tango. Okay.
How did you know about Miss Tango?
Yeah. Okay.
We have our ways.
Yeah. I'll turn on the TV, see what channel it's on, see if they've been watching. Just seeing if it's on the channel that church is regularly broadcasting on.
I don't remember what channel I said that was on. We'll just say it's on channel 5, like the news.
Okay. All right. Turn back off.
Which we should say when you flip it on the news, it's like, well, it's a scorcher again, people. The temperature's really bad.
And I know this is Canadian news, but the homeless population in San Damiel continues to decline.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what that's all about, but so, okay. All right, I'll come out of the bathroom, run my hand underneath the mattress, and between the mattress and the box spring.
You don't find anything between the mattress and the box spring. You do notice that on one of the nightstands there is a brochure for the Royal Ontario Museum, which has the exhibition Frauds, Fakes, Forgeries, and Fictions on the top. Dr. Margaret, what are you doing? You've gone through the drawers. You haven't found anything.
Gone through the drawers, gone through the box. Heather went to the bathroom. And Heather, you checked the closet?
I did. There is a leather coat, and it did have a postcard from the Black Dragon in its pockets.
Well, at least they've been there, and there's something under the bed.
Nope.
I guess if you could even get under it. I found some kind of journal type of thing called the Book of Shadows. I'm not very familiar with Wicca, but
Well, we can read it later. We'll just take it with us.
I think they had noticed. Do we want to let them know that somebody was in here?
Nope. Yeah, I'm not that worried about it. They wouldn't know it was us. Let's see. So.
Well, I mean that maid side, at least you come in here.
Yeah, but I still say I think it's worth it. Worth it to take it.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
I'll go back.
I'll carry it out of here if you got Qual.
Dr. Margaret, do a spot hidden for me.
35 is a hard pass.
So as you are getting the Book of Shadows, you look over just on the surface of the cabinet where all the dresser drawers are, and you see that there's a notepad there, like the stationery for the hotel. And the way the light in the room is playing on it, you can see that something was written on the sheet above
Oh,
it.
there's the pressure marks.
Yeah.
Can I read what it says?
Well, it's a little tricky. How are you going to try to...
If there's a pen in here, I want to kind of just go in the depression and make it more...
If you got a pencil, you can just kind of like
do it like a rubbing.
And then you read the negative space will be the writing.
It says, Royal Ontario Museum. You can see that it gives the opening and closing. And then underneath that, it says, tonight at midnight, the Prince of Darkness.
Now, when
what do you think of this?
Oh yeah, just real quick. When you said opening and closing, you're talking the daily opening and closing time.
Correct.
Okay. Prince of Darkness at midnight. Sounds like we should be at that museum at midnight. Is what I think.
Yeah, I would agree.
Be sure to take the top of that paper you
Yep.
colored on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hurry. Gonna go to the other restroom and check it out.
Okay. Once again, it seems pretty normal. There are a number of, once again, similar gold, initials on things there, except that in this case it's SD.
Okay. All right.
Do a spot hidden for me, though.
Oh. Yeah. Nope. That's too. I don't have that much luck.
Okay. All right. Dr. Margaret, what are you looking at?
And while Heather's checking the other bathroom, I think we've checked this whole space, haven't we?
Well, on the right side of the bed, on the nightstand, you didn't notice it at first because the lamp is sitting there and it's kind of tucked a little bit behind the lamp. But there is a bottle. The bottle looks like it's made out of crystal. It's about maybe 4 inches tall. And inside of it, there is some sort of green liquid. Do a spot hidden for me.
96 is not going to do it.
Okay.
I kind of want to push the roll.
There's no label. Do you want to push the roll? I'll warn you. If you fail, you're going to drop the bottle.
It's worth it.
Yep, pushing it. Here we go. Need a little chaos in our lives. 64 is a pass.
As you hold the bottle up to the light, you can see that there is a small, looks like a stone or something inside the bottle at the bottom. The stone looks black.
How does it smell?
You're gonna just the bottle and smell it.
Yeah, no, not like just like sniff it, but I want to just waft.
Okay. It smells kind of spicy, kind of fragrant, like more spicy than floral.
Okay.
rather strong smelling. Do an idea roll.
A 70 is good.
Okay. It smells like maybe some essential oils or something.
Heather?
Yeah.
Do you have any test tubes or anything on you?
Let me see if I'm lucky enough to bring some. Nope, I wasn't.
Here they are.
Yeah. You're wanting to get some of that liquid or that stone in there?
Yes, yeah. More want the stone, but I mean, if we could see what chemicals are actually in here,
Mm-hmm.
and depending on how much
So
Glensandi can have with some of the stuff that we found, like from his lab, I'm just want to chase down every
right. Is the ice bucket around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
grab
any,
the ice bucket. Grab the ice bucket. Pour it in there.
All right.
It's not as good, but it's better than nothing.
Or is there any anything in the bathroom, like any
Like the
containers or something?
Maybe some little shampoo bottles.
Not shampoo, like do they have like actual cups or something?
Yeah, there'll be cups
Oh,
in the room,
yeah.
cups and
Yeah.
glasses.
Yeah, it's probably better.
Yeah, especially if the glasses look unused.
Okay, yeah.
If they're kind of still stacked where they're supposed to be, then
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a few of them that have been used, obviously, but that's what made you for.
Yeah.
I'll go grab one and bring it to her.
All right. So what are you going to do? Are you going to pour it all out? Are you going to pour some of it out?
No, I'm going to pour it until that little pebble or
Until the
whatever it
little
is.
rock falls
Mhm.
out. Okay. Well, you have to kind of pour most of the
Yeah.
most of the liquid out. When you do that, the fragrance is very, very strong. It's almost overpowering at that point. The liquid also pours like an oil. It doesn't pour like a liquid, a water.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, we got it.
This is strong.
Yeah.
The little stone is it's black, it's smooth, like a pebble.
Mm-hmm.
You can't quite see if there's flecks of color in it, but there might be like a green tinge to it.
Well, I'm just going to take it.
There we go.
I mean, we don't really have a...
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, if we've opened all the drawers,
Just put it in the pocket.
bathrooms, I think we need to vamos.
All right, but first, let's try to get some of this back in the bottle.
Okay. It's probably not possible for you to do any of that without getting some of it on you. And especially if you've got the rock and stuff. It feels just like oil.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And yeah, you can pour most of it back into the bottle.
Yeah, and is there a Bible in the room?
A Gideon Bible? Yeah, probably in one of the drawers.
Just
Good.
untouched, or
Yeah, just untouched. The way they all are.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And I believe that they're all color coded. I can't remember, but I think they're black in hotels.
Yeah.
They have, believe it or not, all the covers mean something. The covers are all different colors depending on what they mean.
Wow. No.
well, I'm gonna well, Heather, I think we should get out of here and try to maybe take a shower or something. Try to get this smell
Agreed.
off of us.
Yeah, we should have like some test tubes or something in the room. We can put that in and seal it. Maybe a cork or something. Get it to the lab. All right. So,
And you're taking the book?
yep, taking the book.
Okay.
We took the liquid. They'll know someone was here. So I open the door. I kind of look out. What I'm seeing, I don't want the maid to see Margaret going into the room because right now she's only interacted with me. I'm going to stick my head out and see if she's in the hallway.
She's not. She's in the room. She's moved a room closer, though.
Right. So I gotta go. It's clear. So let's
So
go.
like rush out and down to our room.
Okay. So you get back to your room. We'll come back to you in a minute. All right, Dr. Ethan. Sitting on the bus, you take a position farther back than these two guys. For a little while, they don't say much to each other, except that occasionally the younger one will like point out the window at something on the, as they're going by, and they seem to be having a bit of a conversation. The older one has his little journal out, and he's making notes. Do a listen roll for me.
Ooh, 61 out of 35. I failed that one.
Okay.
Yeah, too much to even use.
So you hear him chit-chatting about things around the city. You hear the street names mentioned, but you don't recognize anything. They seem like they're in a good mood. And occasionally, the older one will point to something in his book. And they'll sort of lean in close and they'll discuss something. He'll make some notes, and you'll see them do this for a while. They take the bus into the middle of the city, and they end up stopping at the park across from the museum. And
Okay.
and they get out. What do you do? You go.
Now, is there like a? No, you know what? I'll get out with them, but not.
You can get out the other door. They go out
Right. That's what I was going to ask. If there was two sets of doors, or. All right. So I'll get out the back, and I'll kind of look at them, but make it a point to walk the opposite way for a little bit,
Okay.
but still keeping them with it. And I pretend I'm looking around, like take a paper out of my pocket, and look, like if it's directions, and kind of look a little lost.
Well, you see that what they do is when they get out, they stop for just a moment in the shade of a tree, and they once again consult their little book, and then they head straight towards the museum. Dr. Jonathan and Dr. Desmond, you were following in the car. You managed to catch up to the bus, and you followed it, and you see them get out, and you see Dr. Ethan get out, and you're just a couple of car lengths away.
Who's driving?
I think you were, because you were the one who was planning to. Like, it wasn't clear whether they were going to follow them by vehicle or on foot or by mass transit, and you were the one who went to our car, if I recall correctly. So I assume that you're driving. So I should probably hop out. Although again, I was at the same table with Heather and Margaret, so I don't really want to.
Well, if I see them going into the museum, I'll make sure they're going in through the main door, and then I'll kind of run down to the corner to look for the car.
Okay.
Right. So Dr. Leach, if you want to park, we can wait outside the exits, and Ethan can follow them in and see what they do.
Yeah.
If Ethan don't have a chance to confab, I mean, we don't have much to check in on, I guess. But we can just coordinate that that's a plan, since, again, Ethan's the only one we don't think they know is with us.
So, Desmond, I didn't really get to hear anything on the bus. Every time I tried to listen, the driver stepped on the the gas, and it would make that big noise, and I didn't catch any of the what they were talking about, but they kept writing, kept referring to that book, kept looking at their notes. The one older man kept writing a couple. I think he wrote a couple things, but
No, our friends seem to have an agenda. They seem awfully friendly and jolly for people who meet a description of murderers.
yeah, I don't know.
Either there's a bunch of people in robes who are wearing strange medallions and silver around their necks. You know, maybe there's some Wicca conference and we don't even know about that. And we just found 2 out of 60 weird friends. But, you know, the descriptions are pretty specific. I think we've got them. It's a pity the local cops don't believe anything we say, because it's a pretty good match for what we've heard. Anyway, if we know where they are, then we can at least maybe prevent them from finding another victim. It's my best guess.
Yeah,
Dr. Leach is finding a parking place. So if we guard the exits, there can't be more than 2 from a place like this. It's too easy to steal something that way. I'm guessing. And you can see whether they go straight to our giant crab friend. Maybe they've got another vial of mother's milk.
Ooh. Question, Tom. Did the museum have a gift shop, T-shirts and hats?
Sure.
So, Dr. Desmond, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, make a beeline for the gift shop, grab a bag with a T-shirt and a baseball cap. And if I feel like I've been made, I'm just going to run to the bathroom, change my shirt, throw it out, put on the T-shirt and the hat, maybe a pair of sunglasses, and go back in again. Just in case, you know.
Yeah. My only reason to think that they were paying attention is because they were taking notes when they left the hotel restaurant. But maybe they were taking notes about something else.
Yeah.
You know, all I know is that we had conversations between Dr. Evans and Dr. Mills between the 2 of them. So that's a little bit of identification for 4 of us at a table.
The older one seems to be looking at the notes. Maybe they have an agenda, or like go to the museum at this time, go to the park here. I don't know. Maybe they have something they're following. Maybe I'm just making it up, but. All right, so if next time you see me, if I have a hat and change the shirt and glasses, it's just because I think they spotted me, so don't worry.
Yeah, fair enough. And I'm going to be, you know, I mean, we're actually tourists too. So if we run into people at a museum, it's not the most outlandish thing in the world.
Exactly.
All right. So while you guys are parking, Dr. Ethan, you follow them in, and what you see as you're entering the door, you see them over at the reception desk, and they are paying for passes for the museum, which you also do, obviously. They then make sort of a beeline past what you expected, that they were going to go like fake frauds like this. They go to a different part of the museum, and it's almost like they're just walking straight through. So they just paid, and they're not particularly looking at anything. You know, occasionally they look at something as they walk past it, but they seem to be going somewhere.
They have a plan, basically.
Right.
All right, so I'll do that. I'll pay, and I'll see if I can follow them quietly. I'll leave the gift shop for after they spot me. So I'll just hang back. I'm not right on their heels, but I want to make sure that if it comes to like a big, like, you know, T-junction or something, I'm a little closer so I can see where they go. If it looks like it's a one-shot hallway with nothing else, I'll hang back a lot.
Okay. What they do is they head towards the main stairwell. There's like big, what do I want to call them? Like big marble steps going up to the second floor and also going down into the basement. You know that in the basement, there's a few other exhibits, and there is like a cafeteria. You also know that they just ate.
Right.
They're probably not going to the cafeteria. But they head downstairs towards the basement. It becomes a little trickier to follow them because there's less people down here.
Right.
And there would be moments when it would be obvious that you were the only other person in the corridor with them. But they stop a couple of times, and it looks like they're taking notes near utility doors
Okay.
that lead to other to the utility areas. You can hear them. They're not whispering, but you're far enough away to where you really can't hear what they're saying, but they're discussing things, making notes. And at one point, the older one sort of turns and puts his hands on one of the utility doors as he says something to the younger one. And then he sort of snaps closed the book, and they immediately turn, and you can tell that they're about to walk right back the way they came.
Is there anything on the walls or exhibits or?
There's not much in this area, but there is a restroom.
You'll see if I could dip right into the restroom.
All right, so you dip into the restroom, and just inside the door, you can hear their feet go past.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to listen to see if they're talking too.
Yeah, you can hear them talking, but it's muffled through the door.
All right.
So you can hear now that they're on their way.
I'll give it a good 30 seconds and then come out.
Okay. And we'll just say, just for the sake of following you, that as you come out, you can see they've just started up the stairs back to the first level.
I wanted to sprint over a little and look at what door they looked at. Does it have anything written on it? Does it have
Maintenance?
It's just maintenance closet or maintenance hall?
It just says maintenance, and it says authorized personnel only.
Okay. I'll make a note to myself so I remember exactly what door it is.
Okay. Dr. Leash and Dr. Flores, you do not see anything. Nobody's come out. It's probably been 10 or 15 minutes.
Are there multiple non-emergency exits, or is there one exit?
Yeah, it's a fairly big place. There's at least 4 doors. There's the main big front door. There's probably doors in the back heading towards the university. There's side doors going out into the gardens.
And those are all public. They're not emergency?
They're all public, yeah.
Okay. Right. So maybe, one of us will park in for the main door and the other one will sort of circle the place because, I don't know, otherwise.
Okay.
I can probably circle it in 2 minutes. So I'm not likely to miss anybody that doesn't pass Dr. Liege. Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Evans and Dr. Mills, you've snuck out of the room. You've gone back to your own room. What are you guys going to do?
Well, I'm going to change my clothes and take a quick shower just because I'm trying to get that perfume smell off of me after or whatever it is.
It's pretty strong. It does smell kind of like certain kinds of perfume, kind of a masculine smelling perfume.
And also getting that rock into a test tube.
Yeah. It now that you look at the rock, now that you've sort of cleaned off the greenish oil, the rock actually looks more red than anything else. It's got a dark red color to it. Almost black.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not one for fancy perfumes or things like this. I don't know if this is common, but kind of odd to me.
Yeah. Got me. Like I said, let's just seal it up, and no one else is a geologist, right? So being able to ID this rock is pretty unlikely with them. But
right.
But
We should definitely get the smell gone, and then see if we can get this and the book to Glonsandi. I mean, especially if they want to come looking through your room,
right,
looking for that book. It'd be best if we don't. If it's nowhere in here.
Right. Are there safes in the room?
Yes.
Is the safe big enough to hold the book?
Oh yeah.
Okay. We can store it in there. They won't be able to get into the safe. While Margaret's taking a shower, I'm going to skim through the book.
Okay. You're pretty sure this is all handwritten by one person.
Mm-hmm.
There are a number of rather interesting, I don't know if you would call them spells,
Mm-hmm.
incantations that are written in there. They have a kind of flowery sort of phraseology. Sounds very much an old English phraseology, but they're definitely written in English.
Right.
One of them seems to be a binding spell.
Mm-hmm.
It's describing the ability to bind your enemy by creating a kind of effigy, or almost reminds you of like a voodoo doll.
Right.
The second one is this spell for drawing the circle.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a couple of things in there that look like they might have to do with all those stones and crystals, some sort of crystal healing magic, that sort of thing.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, my cult's really low, so I'm gonna try. All right. Okay. Yep.
Well, if you've got a low occult, it seems very occult.
Yeah. I was trying to determine if I knew anything about Wicca and like, are these things that are common with that religion, or is this?
Well, if you want to do actually, in this case, do an idea roll.
Well, that's regular.
Well, it seems new age.
Yeah.
Crystal healing,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. It's kind of a popular, there's just it's the 90s. It's kind of a popular, weird sort of thing that people are into.
Right. No reference to that stone that Margaret found.
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right.
All right. So, Dr. Ethan, you are now following a little ways behind them. They seem completely uninterested in the exhibits, and they are heading towards the opposite door, the one that leads them towards the university.
Okay.
And they simply walk out. They seem to sort of orient themselves for a moment, and you can see the university ahead of you. And it looks like they're starting to walk towards the university. Desmond, you have come around the back side just in time to notice the two gentlemen going down the stairs to the pathway that leads across to the university. And Dr. Leach, what were you doing? Getting left behind?
Yeah, I was gonna sit on that backside on a park bench, just kind of scoping things out.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's just say that you can see Dr. Desmond walk over to the side of the museum, and he kind of disappears out of sight, and then he keeps going, so you don't see him come back this way. Dr. Ethan, you are coming out of the doors, and you see that they are getting ready to walk across the street towards the university.
So I have I assume, is it stairs I'm going? Like they go down?
Big steps going down the museum on the outside.
I'll hang out on the stairs a little because I have a better line of perspective as the helicopters fly around. and I'll hold my hat, and then I look around to see if I see either Desmond or Liege out there, but I want to make sure. All right, they're going towards building X or building Y, or
Right.
and then if I don't see them, I'll start walking. But I'll give them a good 50-yard berth because I have the line of sight on them.
Yeah. Desmond probably gives you you see him over to the side.
I'd be like, you know.
Yeah.
I stepped out in front of that cab. Sorry, guys.
So if they went at the back door and that's where Dr. Liege was sitting, it's just a question of whether they want to send. I have to close my windows.
Well, they have a good public transportation system in Canada, so.
Lots of traffic.
Yeah, it's right. It's the middle of town.
Yeah, right by the college. You know, what do you expect?
So if the three of us have a confab as the two fellows are walking away, like, you know, Ethan's going to say, I followed them downstairs. They're looking at doors that are not public.
Right.
They might have seen him. So it's, you know, it was a toss-up. Dr. Liege or me, do we want to follow him next to the university? Or do we want to assume it's the similar thing and we just want to wait outside and see where they go after? Because I think that our job is not to figure out what they're doing, which we're not going to do unless we can eavesdrop, unless we can put a bug on them.
Figure out
keep
where they're
track
going
of
to
where
do
they're
it.
going, because that's how we're going to stop somebody else from getting murdered.
Right, but the campus is a big place. We could lose them there. So why don't we continue doing what we've been doing? They haven't made me yet, so.
Well, we should probably alternate who goes in the building.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just
even
so
if they're paying a little bit of attention, if it's three people who look a little bit different, who are all tourists, that seems less interesting than, oh, I saw that guy before.
Mhm.
Same
and
idea. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, if we pass a place on campus that has T-shirts, we can always just switch out shirts. If it's not even that important, but.
Yeah.
I'm very attached to the shirt, I have to say.
Impressive what a baseball cap can do.
Well, and they don't seem to be looking around suspiciously either.
Right.
They just seem to be on the ball in general in a way that makes me a little nervous. Like, they're obviously on their own thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if I feel sure that if the short one saw Dr. Mills, he'd be like, hey, fifth floor buddy, and maybe in a creepy way. And I would just want to reduce that to the greatest possible extent. I mean, we don't know what they saw in the alley when they were killing the cab driver.
They
They were in
definitely.
the shadows.
Right. Now, I wonder if they, like, we obviously know that magic is real now. Now, are they part of the murders, or are they somehow morbidly watching these murders? You know what I mean?
I do. You know, and I'm curious. Oh, I don't know something, so I can't be curious about the thing I don't know. But yeah, I don't know if they're harbingers or followers or causal. I mean, it's really partially because they're so unconcerned.
But they are on an agenda. They're
here for a reason.
For a reason.
Yeah, they're up to something. I just don't know if it's the murderers. They could be. Yeah, they could be like crows drawn to the carrion, or, you know, they could be accidentally marking the people who were going to be killed. Like, yeah, it's impossible to say. They certainly aren't hiding. You know, they're crazy silver medallions. Yeah, but I just want us to know as a group where the hell they are.
Right. And see, that's what made me, you said it, they're not hiding their silver medallions. And if we were going to go do a murder, I know I wouldn't wear a big silver medallion that could be spotted, like, oh, there he is. So that's what leads me to think they might not be directly involved with the actual murders. And we're saying this as we're walking towards but somehow like that was a great analogy, but like crows to the carry-on. That's, you might have something with that.
Perhaps we should juice them. No, sorry.
All right, so they've entered the campus. Now there's quite a few people on the campus walking around, doing things, going to their lockers, whatever you do on a college campus.
Hacky sack, big in the 90s.
I assume that, let's say by now you guys, well, Dr. Leash is still out in the front of the
No, I thought we'd collected as a group.
I said back.
yeah,
Yeah, I think
on the bench.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the three of us had collected because they went at the back and I was circling and Carlisle came out. So that's the conversation we just had, I think, was an actual on march conversation.
Yeah, because I thought Leash was in the back, Desmond was in the front. Desmond walked around the back. Either way, we've collected each other
All
at
right,
this point.
At this point. So you head into the campus, and it's a little bit like you fear. There's a lot of twists and turns. There's a lot of buildings and places they could go. Do a, what should we call it? I guess we'll do it a spot hidden, just to make sure that you don't. No, use a track. I don't know. What do you think?
A creep on person roll.
Yeah. A follow. That should be something called follow the leader.
He is a tall man with silver hair, which should help.
That's true. Yeah.
Stalking isn't a skill.
Stalking should be a skill. Yeah.
Well, I do have tracking also, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that means something a little different.
Yeah, I know.
Can you find his spoor in the forest?
All right. How'd you do?
I didn't roll because I wasn't sure what we were rolling
Let's
for.
make it a luck roll.
All
That
right.
makes actually more sense.
Okay, well, I failed.
19, so I passed.
Okay. So Dr. Jonathan and Dr. Desmond, you kind of lose sight of him, but Ethan's on the ball. He's guessed that they've turned a corner, and when he turns, you guys notice that down towards the end of one of the lanes, they've stopped, and they are once again discussing something and making notes. And you keep noticing that the older gentleman keeps sort of pointing with his hand at a certain area on the building. It's around the corner that you can't quite see. But you see that he's got his pen in his hand like I do, and he's just like making gestures and saying something to the other guy. And then he makes some notes. And then they start walking. They've kind of made like an L as they were going, and now they're going back the way they came, but not by the same by the same road. So at this point, it seems like they're almost heading back towards the museum again, or to the street out in front. But they stopped there for a few minutes.
One of us should go take a look and see what they're pointing at, and then the others continue to follow.
Okay. When you get to where they were standing, they're standing in a spot where they can see kind of behind one of the buildings, and there are some dumpsters back there.
Now, are those dumpsters aligned with any windows? Like maybe they could jump up on it, or
No. In fact, there's a couple of sort of utility doors on the back of this building and some stairs going up to them. But for the most part, this is the back of the building, and there's not much there except trash cans and things like that.
I just can't. Just take a look around and see if there's anything else I might be missing. Like something line up with the trash can. Is there a fire escape? Is there a...
Do a spot hidden for me.
59, 59. 59. I rolled 59. I got 55. If it's worth spending a couple luck, I will. 4 points.
Tell you if it's worth it.
Oh, all right. Well, I was hoping 4. I'll spend 4 luck.
All right. As you're standing there looking at the area they were looking at, on the brickwork of the building, there is a piece of some sort of industrial tape, and attached to it is a little fragment of something yellow and plastic. And as you look closer, it looks like a little piece of police tape that is left over or stuck there. Or
Could this be the spot where the guy was found dead? Desmond?
No, that was only a few blocks from his home, which was not downtown. It might be where somebody else was, given that we had bodies moved presumably from campus to Chinatown. There might have been some evidence here earlier.
Now,
And the last body was also dumped by a dumpster, so they might be planning first a kill location and secondly a deposit location. I'm speculating.
okay. So I want to go. It's tape, right? A little piece of tape taping it.
mm-hmm.
Can I peel it off?
Comes right off.
All right. I'm gonna peel it off.
Take it back on now because
I can't. Damn it! I was gonna move it someplace else. I don't know what they're planning here, but you wanna screw it up? I'll drop a cigarette in the trash can and we'll leave. So the fire department has to come and move the dumpster.
Well, that's one way.
You know, I have no objection to interfering with their plans in an indirect way. Can't be traced to us.
there are people all around.
In an alleyway?
Well, it's a busy campus, and there's people walking by on the road that you were standing.
That's the nice thing about cigarettes, though, is they're like God's little fuse.
Okay.
If it's something like Marlboro that's full of bullshit that makes it burn no matter how little you puff it, I'm not against it. You know, sometimes, Dr. Carlisle, you seem a little eccentric to me, but
Yeah.
this is not a bad occasion for dumpster fire, especially if it prevents some people from dumping a body as they planned.
At least you put it nicely, a little eccentric. Remember, we were in a cave for a month.
Oh, I remember.
Oh, that's definitely putting it
I
lightly.
remember.
Maybe they're looking for aliens. Did he freeze? That's a great freeze.
That's-
No,
great
the
freeze.
memory is just all flooding back.
Come back,
Flashbacks to
come back,
Giant Jenny.
Desmond. Desmond, come back to me.
There, saved that one.
Yeah,
So unfortunately,
that's awesome.
oh man, I can't see it.
Oh, it's
That's
classic.
It's just great for me.
David,
Oh,
that
now
was
it's
like the perfect freeze frame. Oh,
We'll show it to
you're on mute.
As we saved it.
Good.
Oh, there he goes again.
708.
It's those darn Wiccans. They're casting a spell on him.
They're binding him with a little doll.
There you go. You're back.
You keep jinxing it, Jason.
Sorry.
Don't say anything.
You're on mute.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, if I freeze again, I'll leave and come back, maybe. So the last thing, I was crying about being in the cave. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. We just waited.
It's a beautiful day here in Toronto.
All right. What's your next move? Are you going to continue to follow them?
We can always circle back and revisit that trash can idea if we think it's reasonable.
At a less conspicuous time.
Yeah.
Should we split up? Stay
We
with
shouldn't be together.
Yeah, stay within line of sight of each other, and then.
So best thing that you two stick together since he hasn't seen me yet. At all.
As far as we know.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Leach, let's have a walk through the park. We'll head back toward our vehicle on average.
Yeah.
We'll try to keep Dr. Carlisle in sight, and our friends, Scott and Junior.
That works for me.
Okay. You have your answer rather quickly. Whoever's following them directly, they walk out to the front of the campus and they hail a cab.
All right, so I'll quickly. How far back are they from me? Hopefully not too far. I'll sprint over to them and be like, "Should I play the game? Follow that cab?"
You could. You're close enough, and they're not looking back.
Oh, I was asking Desmond and Liege.
Quick,
guys.
also they're gonna go to the hotel, right? We know they're gonna be at the hotel before whatever they do.
Mm-hmm.
So we can start over. We have something. We know they're.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And I'd like to meet up with Doctors Evans and Mills.
I agree. Yeah, maybe we just head back to the hotel.
Okay.
You know what? Since we let them go, I want to take a look at the dumpster again. I want to open it. I want to roll it out, look underneath it. I just in case I overlook something. We got time.
The dumpster looks like it only has a couple days of garbage in it. Not much. You roll it out. Do a spot hidden for me.
56 out of 50. I'll spend the 1 point.
Okay. There are stains in the asphalt that could be grease, could be blood, could be soda pop. It's really hard to tell, but there are stains. Not a lot of them, but all sort of congregated together where a body might have laid.
That's what I was thinking. Something happened here.
Up against the wall behind where the dumpster is.
If I have a hunch that Dr. Carlisle's onto something there and I roll biology, will that suggest that it's body shaped in a useful way?
Not really. It's
too general than that.
Yeah. And there are definitely other sticky stains and things that are in the trash can.
But we have the hunch, and something is either going to or has happened here already.
Yeah, it's a place of interest for them, and we know they like dumpsters, or the Ripper does. There's got to be a payphone around here. Let's call the hotel and see if we can get Dr. Mills or Evans on the line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of payphones. I think now they cost about 25 cents.
Yeah, 25 cents, I think.
They came up in another game. They were only a dime back then, but now
I remember when they went from a dime to 15 cents.
yeah, I do too. All right.
What a ripoff.
So you managed to call back to the apartment as Dr. Heather and Dr. Margaret are showering together. Wait, no, they're cleaning themselves up.
Get my back. Yeah, what's up there? How's it going out there?
You doctors, you're both well?
We are. It's an interesting room.
You got in.
We did. They had a book that looks like it could have some spells in it. It had that kind of, musical language, kind of like that endurance chant that you liked.
Uh-huh.
And they had a trench coat that was very similar to what we believe the Ripper wore, and it had a black dragon postcard in it. And most curious of all, they had a very musky liquid with a black, and now it looks red pebble in it.
A liquid like it's something they were drinking from their fridge?
If they were, they've got a pretty high top. It's very potent smelling, almost like a oil viscosity.
Did you leave everything as you found it?
Well, no, we took a couple things.
Okay. I wonder if we should work on getting another room in a different hotel then. What did you take?
Well, I took the book. I thought you might want to read it, and I'm gonna push all the blame onto you. So, and we took the pebble and the liquid.
Wow. Okay, so they're going to know that somebody was in there. Did anybody see you break in?
Oh, the maid let us in. We didn't break in.
Okay. So the maid saw you guys.
Well, she saw me. Margaret, Dr. Evans was, out of sight.
All right. Our friends are in a cab. I assume they're on their way back to the hotel. So
Right.
I would maybe get out of there, and I would think maybe Dr. Mills, you should consider getting your hair done, maybe into a different color.
Yeah.
And we might all consider changing hotels because we're a little bit close to, as far as I can tell, two very dangerous Wiccans. All we saw was they went downtown, they went to the museum. They didn't seem to care about anything except non-public access ways. And likewise, they went to the university and looked at a dumpster. So it didn't seem like they were tourists. It seemed like they were organizing something.
I'm gonna tap the note that I took off of the. Tell them about the.
Oh yeah. They did have a. Margaret did find a note about. Let's see what it says. It says, Royal Ontario Museum, tonight at midnight, Prince of Darkness. Now, I don't know if they're just a fan of that John Carpenter movie, but I kind of doubt it. So.
It's a good movie. Not very popular. It wouldn't be showing at the Ontario Museum at midnight.
I didn't think so either.
What the hell? And they didn't go to see the crab guy again, as far as we can tell. So either what they've done is enough, or it's unrelated. All right. Let's meet somewhere outside of the bounds of the hotel.
Sounds good.
Place in mind?
You're probably familiar with a lot of the little restaurants and bistros and things.
Yeah.
Yeah, someplace in between. And maybe you should call Glonsandi and see if you can get that red-black stone to the lab.
Right. Yeah. I'll do that.
Because he seems to think he'll be able to analyze stuff.
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's meet at that good noodle place that we ate at 2 days ago.
All right. That sounds good. I'll see you soon.
All right.
All right. So you go to the good noodle place, I guess. First of all, you try to call Glonsandi. And you're informed that he's not currently available.
Oh, that's a shame.
But you can leave a message. You leave a message for him. So.
Right. Just let him know that we might need him to run some tests, and would like to meet up with him later on.
All right. You go to the noodle place.
Hoping to get some information from him about previous samples too. Did we were we waiting for analyses on some stuff?
We
On,
dropped that pink stuff off from
Right.
the test tube.
I guess we
Yeah, the
verified that
vinyl.
was mother's milk, though, right?
Can't guarantee.
I-
That's what it looked like.
Mhm.
Yeah. We didn't get a flavor analysis on it though. Speaking of, we also had the food samples.
That's right. Yeah, that was the big one we were dropping off. Was the food
Mhm.
samples. Mm-hmm.
okay,
And so nobody at the lab has results for any of that yet?
correct.
Yeah, that will
Um,
take some time just with the volume of samples.
It was only like a day, right?
Well, and you seem to get. It feels like you're getting a little bit of the runaround. They've had something go on there, obviously, just recently, and they're pretty tight. Of course, they left a message for Glenn Sondy, so
So if they're all the murders take place after midnight, haven't they?
I think the one that you witnessed was like 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it
That's
was
true.
10
true.
p.m. and the newspapers didn't give a time. They gave a time last time they were seen, and none of those times were very near midnight. Closest was like 3.5 hours till midnight.
So what's your
And
name?
these guys with their silly outfits and their silver medallions and Prince of Darkness, I mean, it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like a fit to anything else that we've seen. But of course, half of the things we've seen don't make sense regarding anything else we've seen either, I suppose. I don't know what mute plants have to do with hybrid animals, have to do with sewer people, have to do with anything.
Admittedly, the robes, amulets, and various occult paraphernalia seems a bit theatrical.
Yeah.
But then again, that's what the police described.
I'd like you to all do spot hiddens. You're at the noodle place. I'd like you to tell me what score you get.
Oh, two.
Oh, 18. Not as good as an O2.
That's
Six.
actually, I was looking for an extreme.
62.
Okay. So Dr. Ethan got an extreme. Dr. Ethan, you're sitting there enjoying your noodles. And as many popular little restaurants in a college area, there's a bulletin board. And on the bulletin board across from you as you're looking, you see a midnight showing at the Balance Theater, Prince of Darkness by John Carpenter.
And I just point over. There is a midnight showing of Prince of Darkness.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna stand up and walk over, pull it off the bulletin board, and bring it back to the table. While I'm gonna take a glance at anything else on the board, also.
Okay, just other notices.
All right.
A lot of ones with little tags on them for,
Yeah.
pull off the phone numbers.
Guitar lessons.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll be damned. They're actually showing it.
Huh. I mean, that could.
But where is the theater? It's not part of the university, right?
No, when you look at it, it's in Midtown somewhere, but it's not particularly close.
Yeah. To be
So
fair,
they mean to pick somebody up from the movie and then eviscerate them and drop them off at the university by those dumpsters?
Oh, that's their alibi.
Or it's an alibi? That's an interesting idea. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, what do you think they were trying to do with those utility doors? What was the point of that? Are they trying to break in? Take something?
I mean, the way Dr. Carla described it, it seemed like they were checking off a checklist.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. They did not look at anything but a glance. The only thing they stopped at was that door, turned right back around. They jumped into the bathroom. They walked past, walked out. That's when I met up with you, and they'd made a beeline to the dumpster.
Did the door say anything about an alarm?
No.
I wonder if, and you didn't try the door, right?
No, because I don't want to lose sight of them, but I do know what door it is, and we could. I made a note of what door and where the dumpster was, just in case we need to go back. It's a maintenance corridor, I believe. No public allowed. No, or only personnel. Museum personnel only, something to that effect.
Right.
Makes me wonder if there's a tunnel between the museum and the university, but that seems like a big security problem.
Yeah.
And what if they're tracking something?
But
I mean, we saw the vial
yeah.
of the milk there, but why?
What if, like you said, at that dumpster there was what was probably blood, which would be a good odds. I would probably say that was probably Russell Simons, who was a university student. Nathaniel Moore was working in the sewers at the Royal Ontario Museum. Is a good. I mean, you could assume that maybe that was how the access, and they are, as you suggested, doing a ghoulish tour of the murder sites.
I don't know much about. I mean, I have a little call, decent, but I don't know much about Wiccan. But from what I understand, they're not inherently evil as a group. Do you think they're actually working to stop whatever's going on?
Well, maybe. Well, so I mean, if they're trying to think of a path to get from the inside of the museum to where that murder victim was found, maybe they believe that something is in the museum. Because in their book, they seem to have spells about trying to trap evil things. What if they think that something is coming out of the museum at night?
Do you think that statue is coming to life and leaving the museum at night?
I certainly hope not. That thing is horrible. But I mean, after Jenny's Cave, I can't put anything.
Yeah, a month ago, 2 months ago would have been an absurd statement, but I can't deny anything right at this point. Between ghouls and aliens and a walking statue, it seems kind of normal.
But I mean, these murders seem to be localized around here, at least somewhat. I mean, we had a college student that was nearby, dumped at that dumpster nearby. We had somebody who was killed in the sewers right below here. They seem to be.
Do we have a map
Of the whole area?
Yeah.
You do, and I keep telling you I'm going to give it to you, and
You
I
do,
don't give it to you.
false promises. Essentially, what I want to do is kind of plot out where the bodies were found and see if it forms some kind of pattern. Mostly, what I'm thinking is maybe it's going to match that pattern of that binding spell that was in that book.
You don't know exactly where the bodies were found.
Right. So I'm going to go with the assumption of one at the dumpster. I'm going to plot one at the museum. We know where the security guard was, so
Right, and almost immediately you've got the university, you've got the museum, but then you've got way down here you've got Chinatown, and then you've got the guy's house. Doesn't seem to be making any kind of.
okay.
Well,
But it all does sort of seem to be in that sort of area of.
But all speculation aside, the one commonality is the Black Dragon, because now even the trench coat had a Black Dragon postcard. That's the only 100% commonality between every person that was dead or involved.
And that's what I'm suspicious of, because if Heather found that postcard in the trench coat, maybe after each murder they dropped some other trinket from the Black Dragon, because the Wiccans and the Chocho are enemies. Why would he carry around a Black Dragon postcard in his pocket? It's not like it's hard to find. Maybe that's something they leave, I mean, we don't know that anybody, we know the cab driver was on his way to Chinatown. We know that other indications of the Black Dragon were found on some of the bodies, but that trench coat is not on a body. That trench coat matches a description of a possible murderer.
Well, and then, do we have the security guard? What's his name? Yeah, Ethan Peters. What was his? I mean, all we know is that he was involved with the Mother's Milk. We don't know that he had any ties to the Black Dragon. But then again, they're classifying his murder as the same thing. But I mean, he was the only body that was skinned.
Right. Yeah.
And if you think about it, maybe it wasn't him who was wearing his skin when the shadow entered the laboratory. Maybe he was skinned and something was wearing him, something with a strange shadow. And they just waited until after he was a criminal to dump his body.
That's gruesome.
Skin, shedding skin, snake.
Yeah. Huh. On the map, do we see where the Balance Theater is?
Yeah, it's actually over on. I can't read the name of the street. Wellafley. Wellefley. Wellafley. It's actually not far from your hotel.
I bet that's an S and it's Wellesley. Just logically speaking.
Yeah.
Now, do we...
Yeah, but that could be an S instead of an F. Wellesley. Yeah, that's actually about 2 blocks from your hotel.
Okay.
Let's call the theater and see what their programming's like, just out of curiosity. Won't hurt to know.
Yeah.
What is it? Probably mid-afternoon at this point? Early afternoon?
Yeah.
So I just want to see what they're showing and what it sounds like.
I wish I had anticipated that. Be like, you've reached Movie Phone.
Welcome to Movie Phone.
Why don't you just tell me what you want?
I have a feeling that Sean will be happy to fill that in. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, it from the lineup, it sounds like they show vintage films, and or less popular films, artsy films.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that one showing at midnight. That's their final show. But on Saturdays and Sundays, now I don't know if this Saturday, this is not Saturday or Sunday. On Saturday and Sundays, they do the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, nice.
Because everyone did.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's still fun.
Except this April, they're premiering the Dunwich Horror Picture Show.
Yes.
Dr. Mills-Donovan, so you said that it specifically says Prince of Darkness at midnight, but
Yes.
not the theater, but the university.
It says it had the museum opening and closing times. Then below that on the note, it said tonight at midnight, the Prince of Darkness.
So they could just be.
They're just planning the itinerary.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking now that.
And when's the closing time of the museum?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
So they've got 6 hours between the closing time of the museum, their visit to the dumpster, and their screening of Prince of Darkness.
We should go and pick up tickets to the movie just in case we need them to get in. I think at least one of us should be at the movie theater to see if they show up. If they don't show up, they still might have bought tickets. That's their alibi. And then we're going to need to be by the dumpster and by the museum somehow. At least that's my train of thought, if anybody has anything else.
No. And the only other thing I could think of immediately is try and get in that one room you saw. So I'll make note of that door.
Well, what immediately comes to mind is, do you have the book with you, or is it in your hotel room still?
I locked it in the safe.
Well, they're probably back now, and there might be raising hell. Shit, I wish you would have had it with you.
Yeah. I mean, we're not on the same floor. We're on the 7th. They're on the 5th. So, yeah.
I mean, there's elevators, so.
Yeah. Oh, I know, but at
Um,
least it's going to make it a bit. I can give you guys the key. Yeah. We did bring the little rock, though.
I'm just saying, now we tipped our hand. They know, so they might change their plans.
Does anybody have any geology?
Jack does.
Oh, Jack.
Yeah.
Jack.
Yeah. But no.
I do have a very high natural world.
Yeah, go ahead. Roll it.
Rolled right off the desk, sorry.
If the rock is reactive, I could use a chemistry roll.
53 out of 60.
Nice.
Okay. Something that you've seen before that looks similar in coloration would be bloodstone.
I relay that to the group. Do I know anything about bloodstone, or
Not really.
because I don't? That's why I'm asking.
And you're not sure that it is bloodstone, but it looks like bloodstone.
Maybe, yeah, maybe just part of their practices. I don't know.
All right. So let's do a quick rundown. What you're going to do tonight? Somebody's going to go to the movies.
I would suggest it would be me because they've yet to still have a face-to-face with me.
Okay.
Yeah, and you have ample time to change. You don't even have to do something silly like a hat and baseball glasses. You can just put on a different jacket and different shirt. And I really do think Heather should get her rinse.
Yeah.
And we should consider getting at least one room in a different hotel.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we're kind of cooped up here with the people we think are dangerous.
Okay.
We've got plenty of expense account.
There is another hotel across the street. We'll call it the Blair.
Mm-hmm.
The Blair Hotel. It's not
Really
quite
nice
as
dead
fancy
walls.
as this one, but
Mm-hmm.
All right. So in addition to getting your room, I'll just summarize what happens this evening, since you guys pretty much spend the whole evening with this. Did anybody go to the dumpster?
I was planning on doing that because I don't like scary movies, so it's
Okay.
Go see.
So you go to the dumpster, absolutely nothing happens. People throw garbage in it. Dr. Ethan, you go to the movies. It's a pretty good movie, but the guys just watch the movie, and they have some popcorn and soda, and they get up and they catch a cab back to the apartment after that. And what's anybody else doing anything?
At least one of us was loitering around the museum to see if they tried to break in or get out, or if our alarms went off, or if a giant crab rock scampered across the lawn.
Yep, nothing seems to happen like that. And so eventually you all wind up back in your apartments. Are you going to go back to the Sutton, or are you going to go to the Blair?
I'll stay at the Blair.
Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Evans, why don't you stay with Dr. Mills at the Blair, and we can just, have we can either meet in the bar downstairs at either one, maybe the Blair. Let's do that. Let's meet downstairs in the bar at the Blair, so we don't run into our friends accidentally, or are less likely to.
Yep, that works.
All right. So what happens is nothing happens that evening. And you stay in whatever respective rooms you want to stay in, and nothing happens. The next morning comes.
And the television at the hotel didn't say if there's been another killing, no bodies were found,
no bodies,
etc. Very good.
You do get a call in the morning from your guys back in. I'm sorry, what question did you ask them? I can't remember.
Well, there's the lab work locally for Glonsandi, which we now want him to get the bloodstone, if that's what it is, the green fluid. We want to hear about the meat product, and we want to hear about the mother's milk. It's all local stuff.
You do get a call from an assistant at Rothmischel, who tells you still that Mr. Glonsandi has other business right now and he can't, but he had me call you. He says that it's confirmed that the substance in the test tube is the same substance that they've been testing. Not very much of it, just a residue. It's definitely the same stuff. The assistant then tells you that the food samples contained only like pork and animal products. There was no human DNA anywhere in there. Was there something else? Well, I'll just you can say this goes over a number of just information. The stone is a bloodstone, no particularly unusual properties. And the oil, when it's analyzed, seems to simply be like massage oil.
Okay. Yeah.
But I will ask you another thing. Do you, since you're just across the street from the Sutton, are you going to do anything this morning? Are you going to stake out these guys again, or?
Well, I think before we even get that call through, we're going to have prepared some, I'll dine separately from Dr. Ethan downstairs in the morning to keep an eye on them. Increasingly, it looks like it's strange that they haven't been picked up by the local authorities since their descriptions are so distinct, but they appear to be goofball tourists and nothing else.
Well, they haven't been traveling around in their trench coats.
Right.
Although the medallions are more striking than the trench coats, I would think. I mean, very, very Bela Lugosi. Anyway, if they come to breakfast, Ethan and I will give each other the high sign. I'm curious to see how freaked out they look because they obviously were burgled. And if they just have a stack of flapjacks, I'm going to mind my own business, drink coffee, and look at the paper, see how hot it's gotten today.
All right. So, in fact, they do come down for breakfast. Since you're looking specifically for it, you can tell that the older gentleman does seem upset this morning about something. He's a little quiet. He's drinking his coffee. But at a certain point, he pulls out his little book again, and they sort of lean into each other and start discussing something. Go ahead and do it. Desmond, you've chosen a spot close enough to them. Do a listen roll.
Sadly, it's for a clattery breakfast. Because I only have 25 and I rolled a 48. It's like,
okay. So you really
sure.
You really can't hear what they're saying. Give you one more chance. Do a spot hidden.
That's a normal success, 45 for 55.
Okay. From your vantage point, without being too obvious about it, you glance over as the one guy is writing in his book and sort of holding it up. And you can see written on the top of the page is Metro City Cab Company and a question mark. Now, he's not particularly looking at that. He's looking at stuff written on the page, but not that particular thing.
But that is the company that the cab driver was killed?
Correct.
Yeah, they're either murder tourists or something, but they're not. That secret exit they were looking at. I'll talk to the folks about this.
Other than that, they have breakfast. You do overhear one thing. You do hear the older gentleman say to the younger one, well, I've got half a mind to go to a different hotel.
Quite reasonable and duly noted. I'll be speaking to Heather soon about that.
Now, I should mention the maid who's been escorted to the door and thrown out of the building.
In handcuffs.
But that doesn't actually.
Well, that's the price we pay for investigation.
It doesn't happen in the front of the building anyway.
Well, and it wasn't a key card, so I don't know. Might be hard to prove. Let's hope.
All right. So what do you guys want to do? They don't immediately leave the building. It looks like they go back up to their room after breakfast.
Now we're all discussing this?
Yeah, you're all.
Well, I think only you and I, Ethan, or actually you and I and Liege, perhaps.
Yeah, I stayed over in the other hotel because
Right.
that would defeat.
Yep,
the
same here.
purpose.
Mills and Evans are across the street, and I guess Liege and I ate breakfast together yesterday, so we could today. And Ethan, you were at your own private table again because we don't know each other as far as they are concerned.
Why don't
But
we?
once they go, we might as well cross the street and
Right.
meet our fellows at the Blair and catch them up.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
We'll head over to the Blair and discuss the witches we've been watching.
Which were you watching?
Well, you see, we're at the Blair Hotel, and we have a project to watch witches.
Right. Guys like my new hairdo? I changed it like Desmond said. I went blonde. Heard Scandinavians like that, so
I think if Dr. Glansandi is alive and not in a vat somewhere, I think he'll love it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's
Too soon?
what I thought too. But yeah, he's not. He's fine. He's fine.
So here's the news. They're talking about changing hotels. Can't blame them. They were robbed. And the only thing I could catch, I couldn't overhear much, but Scott, that gray, silver hair, has a note about the Metro City Cab Company. So they're either murder tourists or they're witch investigators, or I'm wondering if where Dr. Carlisle saw them check at a door, it's where they think one of the bodies was taken into the sewer system.
Right.
I don't exactly want to confide in them, though.
See, what I was thinking was, since Margaret already had a little discussion with them, I'm not opposed to maybe she'll walk over to him and spill the beans a little about something. Hey, something weird's going on. Throw a little bit out. What are they going to do? Run? We could try and find, follow them or whatever. If not, if they still stay in the same hotel, they don't know me still. So we could still keep up the same facade. But if they're working on this, I don't want to say our side, but if they're doing the same thing we're doing, maybe they're actually the allies we need to be figuring this out. And if they're the bad guys, they're going to panic and do something.
Well, I don't know about whether we want to put anybody in the position of them panicking and doing something, but I don't know how you broach the topic, but any one of us could honestly say we were near the scene of one of the murders and we saw somebody flee, and if they're actually trying to in some way interfere with the Ripper, that's a legitimate point of contact.
You could even slip a note under their door. Hey, we were witnesses to the murder, blah, blah, blah. If you want to discuss it, meet me for coffee. Very public place, or the hotel in the lobby,
See, the problem with that is that it sort of tips our hand that we know that they're that we're watching them. I don't know that that's the best way to start a conversation. Hi, we've been spying on you. We broke into your room. We thought you were murderers, but now we think you might not be. But maybe we can team up. I think something more casual might be less likely to cause distress or offense. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
Then you could be like, here's your book back, let's, bury the hatchet and work together. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out
Have
there.
you looked at the book very closely in the time that you've had it?
Yeah, I kind of I read through it. Like I said, it's got like a binding spell, and
have you recited anything?
No, I didn't even recite the endurance chant. I just seems like something I just don't want to do to myself.
Well, that's one question I have. If they could, because what with the bloodstone and scented oil and a bunch of crystals in a box, it could be just a rich guy and his pal, and they just are pretending to be magic people. But if they have magical spells in this book, then they're part of the discovery that we're part of. So maybe I should take that off to a private place and see if it does anything.
Right.
It's worth a shot. And also that binding, they're definitely looking into the same thing we are. They have a binding spell. From what I understand, Wiccans aren't inherently evil. I think they might be on our side. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it might not be a matter of sides either. I mean, they might be against murder, or they might be in a different way approaching the Divine Mother from some other tradition that we don't understand.
Right.
They could be a third party that's neither on our side or on, I mean, I don't know what the sides are. I don't know what the shape of this.
Yeah, maybe I misspoke, but I mean, I don't see them. I don't think they're the murderers, is what I'm getting at.
It seems increasingly like if they were the Ripper, we would have some evidence of that. And on the contrary, they seem to be kind of oblivious to some parts of that. But that doesn't mean I want to have tea with them right away.
So what are your plans for today?
What day of the week is it, do we think? Or does it not matter at all?
I don't think it matters. We've lost track.
Yeah.
Why were you thinking about the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
It's always a laugh.
Is Rothmersholm open?
Yeah, they're doing business.
You might want to go. I mean, maybe we show up in person and try to find Glonsandi, because who knows what they've been looking into this whole time, and I don't like being kept in the dark.
Yeah.
It seems like our current partnership in this investigation is a little one way right now. I mean, they've run some tests and things that we've sent them, but we don't know what they've been doing independently.
Mm-hmm.
If they've been doing independently, I think that'd also be very telling if they're not making any efforts.
Well, I thought they were covering up all of the deaths that happened in their laboratory. So
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, I thought that that was going to take up a great deal of their time and energy. At the same time, Glonsandi thought that the public labs downstairs would be able to process things without difficulty. And we have gotten some results. I just don't, being cut off from him seems a little suspicious, as though...
Yeah. Now, were they saying he hasn't been in today or that he was busy?
Busy.
That he was busy.
Okay, so he's
unavailable.
been seen, so he's not.
Perhaps some NWI people are on site at this point.
Right.
And I'd be very interested to meet those people.
All right. Shall we call it there then? Leave you with some decisions to make as to what you want to do next. Our players included Morgan Llewellyn, Brian Daly, Keith Craig, Jason Melanchok, and David Gassaway, with yours truly as the keeper of the secrets. We're currently producing up to 5 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with our show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel and punch that bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. And follow us on Twitter at ITD Podcast. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure in the universe of H.P. Lovecraft with the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good gaming.